Feast TV is brought to you with support by Missouri Wines and Whole Foods Market. Welcome to the November episode of Feast TV. I'm Kat Neville, publisher of Feast Magazine, and this month we are giving thanks for the bounty of the Midwest. And before we actually get into the show, I want to give a shout out to all of the folks that make Feast TV possible. We just won our second Mid-America Emmy, and it is because of the hard work of all the folks that you can't see right now that make Feast TV possible that we were able to win that honor. And so I want to say thank you. This month, I will be making arancini, which is a stuffed and fried ball of delicious and decadent risotto. This is a great appetizer for any kind of a dinner party that you're hosting during the holidays, or also a light meal. Now, this recipe is in our menu options column in the issue, and it was developed by Gabrielle Desmichel, and it is delicious. Now, before I get started making the arancini, I want to introduce you to Leslie Moore, the woman behind Farmer Girl Meats. This time of year, meat takes center stage, and as more consumers are becoming concerned with where their meat comes from, Leslie has brought this company to light that actually delivers sustainable meat directly to consumers. So let's head to Kansas and meet her now.
Our mission with Farmer Girl Meats is to simply get more farm fresh, good meat onto more city plates. Our role is to come in, help support and partner with small farms, and then do everything we can to make it easy to get this product, because it's really the best meat around. Farmer Girl Meats are all raised on pastures and/or are grass-fed, which means they're raised really on a small farm, and that's the entirety of where that animal lives. It never hits a feedlot, and it never hits the industrialized meat system. 96% of the meat supply that comes through the grocery store is from what we now know as factory farming, big feedlots, where you can have thousands and thousands of animals really jammed into one small space, and that system is for the mass production of meat. As you can see, it's the real deal. We're right here, and so our animals, they live how they were meant to live, meaning out on the pasture, grazing, roaming. That's the basis of their existence, which it's healthier for them, and it's healthier for us. From small, what are really could be considered craft farming, that embrace the artistry of farming. We feel like being small is at the heart of being great. You can't have quality and quantity at the same time. We're really looking for farmers and producers who are getting back to what it means to be a small farmer.
My name is Roxanne. I'm here on Mettenberg Farm. I'm one of the owners. My husband and I have been on this farm since 1971. Time to think how long. And so we raise the animals here. My family came to this area in 1853, approximately, and great-grandparents homesteaded across the road in about 1870. And so all the generations have been here ever since. My grandparents lived here. Of course, we like is being on the farm and raising the animals. We have sheep, we have hens, chickens, we have 4 horses, 2 donkeys, 2 guardian dogs, 2 cats. I think that's it. So people like Leslie do make options for small farms to market their cattle except to 3 or 4 conglomerate meat industries. And so our cattle aren't subjected to those practices. You don't get hormones, they don't get antibiotics, all of those things that have developed, I would say, in the 70s and 80s for faster growth or more efficiency reasons are why those things developed. I mean, I would argue how really efficient that is, but when their calves are weaned, they have to go somewhere, and the only place to go is the commodity market, unless you have a market of your own. So it's the real thing that we are accustomed to eating. So it's nice that other people can have that experience as well.
Now I'm having a fake Thanksgiving with my family at the beginning of the month because we're not actually going to be together on Thanksgiving itself, and I'm getting my turkey from Leslie and I just cannot wait. Now I am going to get started on the filling for the arancini, and it is a mushroom and ham filling, and it starts off with just some chopped wild mushrooms, and these happen to be shiitakes. And I also have over here some porcini mushrooms that had been dried and were reconstituted in hot water. And then what I did was I just squeezed the hot water out and I filtered the leftover liquid through a coffee filter to get rid of kind of any of that remaining grit. And now this is just some butter and some grapeseed oil in the pan. So these are just our fresh mushrooms. And I'm gonna saute these guys until they absorb all of the butter in the pan. And then I'm gonna transfer them to a bowl. My shiitakes are nice and brown, and I'm just going to pull them out of the pan and set them aside. And then I'm gonna add some more butter and oil to the pan and get my onions going. In go my onions. The onions have caramelized just a little bit. And now I'm gonna add in these reconstituted porcini mushrooms along with the strained jus, for lack of a better term, but you can see that it is just rich and dark and it has tons of mushroom flavor. All right, now these are San Marzano tomatoes. You will see these in cans in pretty much any grocery store, and they are considered the world's best canned tomatoes. It's okay if you use a different kind of a tomato, but if you can find them, don't penny pinch. Get the San Marzano. Rather than chopping these up, I am just squishing it with my hands, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I like the texture better, and it helps to just kind of keep some of the juice inside of the tomato, even though I don't want all the juice that's in the can. So I am going to cook this until it is reduced by half. And so now I'm just gonna add in those shiitake mushrooms that I sauteed earlier, the sliced ham, and then we're going to add just a tablespoon or so of chopped parsley, and that's just gonna brighten everything up both in flavor and also with color. While I move on to the next step of the recipe, let's head to Columbia, Missouri and meet the mother-daughter team behind Peggy Jean Pies. This is obviously pie season, and these women make delicious pies.
Hi, I'm Jeannie.
And hi, I'm Rebecca, and together we want to bring Peggy Jean Pies back to Columbia, Missouri. Well, I had spent time on Kickstarter, so I understood the general premise that you have to sort of have this creative idea that you want to start with, and it just came to me that we were going to do it, and I didn't put a lot of thought into how much. I thought, okay, $10,000, and then when you read on their site, they say 30 days has the best success. If you go longer, they don't seem to do as well. So that was sort of our thinking, like, okay, we'll do $10,000 in 30 days. If we find people remember us and they want us to come back and it means something.
The first Peggy Jean's was, I was desperate to find something to start a business. But it occurred to me that I love to bake. And the only way you could buy a pie is at a grocery store. So my friend and I, she said she would go for it with me. I think I wanted to prove that women can open a business if you really want to, without going the traditional methods of getting a man involved and a bank.
For the longest time, I thought that I could be a practicing attorney and have this shop and get it open and sort of resume to what I considered would be like a normal life. Like I would go back to full-time practice and this would be sort of my side thing and it would be super cute. And all of a sudden, like as we grew, it became clear to me my focus was here. Like all of my heart, my effort, my creativity was all here. I had this feeling like, and I couldn't even identify it. I'm like, what is that feeling? Like knowing it was something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, I think I'm happy.
Every time I'd come home from school, my mother would be making chocolate rolls or anything to do with pie crust. And I asked her to teach me. Of course, there's not a recipe. It's a learning process to know what it should taste like and what it should feel like and the texture of it. But it took time. There was no recipe.
That's super cute.
So cute.
Be glad she's here, because if it was left to me, it would not look like that. She loves stuff like that. She like made the light fixtures. Like you're like creative that way. Yeah, and all the wood and everything wooden in here. She built it.
We'll go and enjoy.
Tell your mom happy birthday. Those are trending hashtags. When I talk to you about hashtags, that's what somebody's doing. So I don't know who that is.
How do you know they're trending? When Peggy Jean's closed, I didn't know if anyone would even remember the name. And I had a real fear thinking, oh gee, it's been 10 years. Does anyone even remember Peggy Jean's? And we were going to name it something different.
Yeah, we talked a lot about should it have a different name.
But then we agreed, let's just go with what's tried and true. And so we did, and it's been phenomenal. It's really validated, I guess, me. I felt.
Yeah, that's been more of a thing for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It made me feel.
I didn't know what to expect because I've never done this before.
No.
But for you, it's been good. Now, like, long term, like people joke and say, what do you want? I'm like, world pie domination.
I think their jelly jar pies are absolutely brilliant, and you can get those anywhere in the country. So even if you're not within driving distance of Columbia, Missouri, you can go on their website and order whatever kind of pie you like, all baked in one of those cute little jars. So now we're going to make the risotto, and the first thing I'm going to do is get my broth and my wine to a simmer. I'm going to use a Seyval Blanc. This is from the Ozark Highlands here in Missouri. And there is a debate of whether you should add wine to your risotto or not, and I say yes. It's not good unless it has the wine element. It gives it a little bit of nuance. So I'm just gonna saute this until the onions are translucent and not browned, and then I'm gonna add in my arborio rice. So right now I'm just kind of stirring this together so that all of the grains of rice are coated with that oil and butter mixture and that the onions are evenly distributed. And now I'm going to make my first addition of liquid be a nice healthy amount of that white wine. And so now, until the rice is finished, about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to add that broth and wine mixture, half cup by half cup, stirring after each addition until it's all absorbed into the rice. And it happens pretty quickly. The absorption, you can tell already that again, that first ladleful of that hot broth has been absorbed, and you want to make sure that your liquid is simmering, because that way when you add it into the rice, it doesn't lower the temperature of the rice. It keeps it at that hot temp and it'll cook evenly and thoroughly. So don't be afraid to kind of taste your risotto along the way, and as soon as it's al dente, which obviously means to the teeth, then you're gonna be good to go. You wanna make sure that it's not too soupy, but also that it's not too thick. So now, at this point, I'm just gonna stir in, I've gone ahead and grated up some Parmigiano Reggiano. And again, quality ingredients are going to make a quality end product. So use really, really good cheese, because that flavor is going to be a big part of the overall flavor of the dish. So just kind of fold in that grated Parmigiano Reggiano. And then once this is finished, we're gonna go ahead and taste it and adjust for seasoning. Maybe add some salt and pepper. Now, once I'm finished with this, I'm gonna go ahead and let it cool to room temperature, and then I'm going to whisk up a couple of eggs and stir that into the risotto, and then put it in the fridge for roughly an hour. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be making a Farmer Girl Meets Turkey for my fake Thanksgiving with my mom and dad. And I'm going to brine that turkey in a brine that's made by the folks over at Wood and Salt in Kansas City. It's a brother-sister team, and the work that they're doing is absolutely gorgeous.
Still not sure who actually put Wood and Salt together, but at some point someone said Wood and Salt, and we were like, that's it, that's the name we want to go with. I'm Ben Anthony, and I'm a co-owner of Wood and Salt along with my sister Jess Anthony. Jess actually came up with the Wood and Salt concept when she first moved back from the Bay Area to Kansas City. She had a barbecue blend that she blended together, and we counterbalanced the sweet raw sugar we use with coffee, kind of give that bitterness and nice chickpea for crust, and that's how it all started. The farm to table kitchen is where people who are just starting up a cooking or culinary business can come and use an industrial kitchen, so you can rent it out without actually buying all the equipment you need. The white pine salt bake, we started off with a Trapani sea salt, which is very nice, and we add in white pine needles that we get from Linda Hazel at Prairie Birthday Farms. We get it from her when she harvests only from late spring to early summer. That way the pine needles have more of a citrus taste to them and less of a resinous taste. And our recipe goes with that you whip up 6 egg whites into it, slowly adding in the different salt. And it finally will almost make this like doughy mixture that you can add in. We like to put in some thinly sliced lemons inside the fillet of the fish once it's been cut open, and add in some fresh pine needles along with the salt blend. Then cover it all over with the doughy salt mixture that you've made. Pop it in the oven at 450 degrees and you wait until it's actually turned nice toasty brown, almost like a loaf of bread, and then it's good to go. It's great also for camping because you can actually just halve the log in half and put the salt on the log first, then cover the fish. And you can do the same thing using the fire coals from it. So it's really nice that way. Being that it's Thanksgiving, everyone likes to brine their turkeys. It's called one stone bird brine. We like to add in a Sicilian sea salt, that we add in a peppercorn melody along with thyme, savory, and we also crush up some bay leaves. We want to stay a Kansas City company. We want to be involved in the community. We like to do events here, so we definitely want to, but we also want to export that flavor of Kansas City to the rest of the country. You know, Kansas City is a food city. It's been there from the American Royal on, and we really want to keep with that tradition.
So where Wood and Salt is currently working in the Farm to Table kitchen, it's located inside of City Market, which is this great conglomeration of a lot of different shops. And so Farm to Table Kitchen allows these small startups to kind of get their footing. It's great to see those kind of incubators popping up because it really helps to give these small businesses, you know, that start. And speaking of small, we're going to make small risotto balls. They're only going to be about 2 inches in diameter. And then once I make these balls, I'm going to poke a hole in them and we're going to stuff them with that mushroom mixture. Once the arancini are stuffed with the mushroom mixture, they're gonna be rolled in breadcrumbs. So I am just gonna spread these Italian seasoned breadcrumbs on my half sheet pan. So this is just some grapeseed oil, about 1 inch deep, and I'm going to gently fry these to a nice golden brown, turning so that they get nicely evenly golden on all sides. So while I'm finishing up these arancini, let's head over to St. Louis into the Benton Park neighborhood and meet Kevin Nashan. He has just opened up his new restaurant, Peacemaker. He's considered one of the key people in the St. Louis restaurant scene. And at Peacemaker, I have 2 words for you: lobster roll.
This is the food at the end of the day I want to eat. I want to eat po' boys, I want to eat lobster rolls, I want to have fun, relaxed, and laid back. So it was kind of like, it was almost like a no-brainer for me. The idea for Peacemaker came about with, originally just wanted to do lobster rolls and lobster boils. And then it was kind of like, my wife was like, well, you kind of need something more, and I totally agreed. So we kind of like, I started digging in, and then I kind of tied in the whole history of the Acadian, of starting in, you know, Maine and Canada and metamorphosing to Lafayette, Louisiana. It was kind of like, that's where the name came about too. The Peacemaker is actually the predecessing name for the pool boy in the late 1800s, which was 2 pieces of bread with fried oysters, and it was, you know, supposed to basically create peace amongst your household and also your your boss. So I need a brisket, a Peacemaker, and a sweet potato. Po' boy. The key to a good lobster roll and any sandwich in life is bread. It's all about the bread. It's not about the ingredients. And what I like to go for is, you know, French toast. That's the kind of color I'm looking for. Merci. Add a little salt, a little drawn butter. that is it. I wanted someone to sit down and go, you know what, this is exactly a po' boy I remember in New Orleans, or hey, this is a lobster roll I remember in Maine. I mean, why do anything crazy and strange? Just kind of keep it comfortable, like putting on a jacket. With Sidney Street, and it's been 10 years, it's kind of crazy. You know, it's more fine dining, and it's not that the food at Sidney Street's less familiar, but that's a ground for, you know, more creativity. And I think Sidney Street in a lot of ways is very comforting. You walk in, it's rustic, elegant, and I wanted, you know, the food, I wanted a Peacemaker would be, you know, on the same level of being approachable, but kind of everyday thing. It's one of those things that I wanted to, it had to be completely different than Sidney Street, but it had to complement it. Oh, hi, Ben. I say it every time. Little sorrel curd. Here's a little sour cabbage, AKA white kimchi. Here's a little soil. It's a beet cake. Has pistachios, dehydrated fruit from the summer, like berries and blueberries, raspberries. This is a beet marshmallow. Get a nice little chunk of that. Now we're just gonna kind of go and kind of plate with some fresh herbs. And there you go. I think the key to the success of both places is not me at all. It's having a great crew, and that's what we have. And it's hopefully, you know, you kind of, I hope, lead by example. So I try to work, you know, hard and kind of keep a path going, and then, you know, be involved. You know, it's kind of like, you know, raising kids or anything else. You have to be involved. You have to be touching everything, talking about everything, and kind of like, you know, evolve through that. But the balance is always an interesting, you know, bridge. And I don't know how you can do more than two, but it's interesting so far.
What I love about Peacemaker is that it helps to show the other side of Kevin's personality. And, you know, one night you can have this amazing kind of barrier-breaking experience at Sidney Street, and the next night you can tuck into a poor boy. I mean, with a beer. It's really nice to see two very different ideas coming from one very, very talented chef. And ta-da, here are our finished arancini, and typically these are served with a little bit of a red sauce or a bolognese on the side. And I'm going to be pairing our arancini with a chambersin from Les Bourgeois. Les Bourgeois is in Rocheport, Missouri, which is almost smack dab mid-state. And chambersin is great this time of year because it goes with pretty much everything. It's a lighter style red, it's very fruity, and this happens to be chambersin month. If you're looking for something for your Thanksgiving table, you can't go wrong with this delicious Missouri grape. So cheers to Thanksgiving, and I look forward to checking in with you next month.